this storm is that I asked him what was it that was debated. Well, I also began reading it on social media, and I asked him what is it that was brought on the floor of the House that has brought this kind of storm. And what I've given you is this explanation that he wanted to achieve two things. One, to tidy up the process of lawmaking by rejecting amendments through the back door. And two, he wanted also to avoid the duplication whereby a provision in another law is again found in another law and it brings conflict.
Okay.
So that's why he proposed the amendment to remove whatever was removed with a rider that they should bring a special bill that will carry all these laws that want to be amended in the area of corruption to achieve that goal. So
okay.
That's what but I'm thinking I want to go and post the bill because I've not seen anybody circulating the bill. I've seen debate on the bill.
Yeah.
I've not seen anybody circulating the bill. Now that Mr. Oguda has circulated my signature, I'm constrained to get the entire report put out on social media, and I hope people will read and see what was in that social report. And I also want to circulate the report of the committee of the Senate. Because what happens is that when you're making legislation, once these proposals come, we have got experts, lawyers, economists, or whatever, who go and look at the bill and then make a report based on also what we have received from the public. And then they go through them, sift them and see, and then run them against the Constitution. In fact, one of the main things that the people had a problem with what came from the National Assembly was that a lot of what we changed at the committee was conflict with the Constitution, which would basically mean that it would go to court and it would be thrown out.
Okay.
May have been popular, but it was in conflict with the Constitution, like a fair hearing. There are things you cannot interfere with, and you cannot deny somebody a fair hearing on the basis of what you are suspecting the person to have done. So there was that element that went through the committee. But I think the best thing is to get people to read through. I'm even seeing that even the anger with the finance bill, for somebody like me, the first time I fought the finance bill was 2018. We used to have what they called the Provisional Collection of Taxes Act, whereby the finance bill became law the day the minister read it. Mm-hmm. I'm the one who went to court and said, you cannot tax people without representation. And in my petition number 285 of 2018, I got orders quashing that law that allowed the finance bill to become automatic law, and also quashing the order that had effected that. And for those who are old enough, you remember there was a time when around the budget time, things could disappear from the shops. Mm. Then, after the budget is read, they would come back with the new prices. It's because the finance bill used to be implemented automatically. So the executive would tax you without your voice. I went to court in 2018, I fought the system, and I won. And I destroyed that law, so the finance bill began being debated. I moved on and began fighting. Even last year, it was a one-man fight against the finance bill. One of the things I've been demanding is that you look at theft in terms of expenditure. The real theft happens on the revenue side. Mm. The law is very clear. The budget should give us estimates of revenue and estimates of expenditure. When you say you are raising the price on petroleum, the VAT on petroleum, from 8% to 16%, what is the anticipated revenue? Mm. And can that be put in law? And is that enough to finance the budget? So that we are in a situation whereby the government is raising money we don't know. Even domestic debts. We don't have a single domestic debt that has been acquired from 2010 that is valid. Because it says it must be in the budget. You must propose your expenditure in the budget. Then Parliament has to approve what you want to do. So that what you then go to take on the money from the people is something that is tangible. Yeah. So these are the things that now, if you look at now, even the victory that people are celebrating, the Appropriation Act was enacted into law. The question we should be asking ourselves, with the rejection of the mechanisms for financing that budget, can the Appropriations Act still be law? Or do we need to go back and do what is really the proper thing, begin the budget cycle afresh.
Okay.
And finally, this year I also went to court in May. Just that the judges, I think, were a bit disturbed. I went to court in May. And I asked a very critical question. Can you pass the Finance Act before you pass the Appropriation Act, the budget? What are you financing? It's the budget. So where is the budget you want to finance? What was happening was very simple. President Ruto was now reaching a point whereby he was saying he does not need a budget. He does not need parliament to run this country. He was going to collect money, put in his pocket, and do what he wants with it. So that challenge was there. So we need to look critically at our budgeting cycle and ensure that the scamming that is causing poverty in this country, whereby there's absolute theft on the side of revenues, the Gen Zs should now get to that point of understanding that the Finance Act is nothing but a mechanism of raising money to finance a budget. The problem is in the budget. What are we budgeting for? Why can't we balance our budget? What are we budgeting for? Why can't we balance our budget? When we get there, then right now what I see, when I look at people on the street, when I was hearing people shouting, it's like somebody looking through the keyhole and getting mad at what they see. I want that person to go to the balcony and see the mess. And then get properly mad and say, after being mad, we are going to proceed in this kind of sequencing.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's how I personally look at it.
Thank you. Mark.
Sorry, I was looking, I was a bit distracted. There was a bouquet of flowers and I wanted to hand over to Mr. Okiya Omtata. You know how they say give a man